Hello again and welcome back. I'm Drenaughter and this is Far Cry 3 for the PlayStation 3. I've already previously done a video, Far Cry 4, where I stated that I'd not played any of the previous games, and I got a little bit of stick for that. A lot of people said that this game was in fact better than 4. So I'm intentionally playing these in the wrong order. I will bear in mind that they are getting, progressively older, so they're not going to be as good as the new ones. I'm not going to say, compare them to the one after it and go, well, this one is crap by comparison because it was made before. It was part of the evolution. So yeah, think of this as the devolution of first-person open-world shooters. Yeah. Because I'm interested to see what they took from the older games and brought along into the new games. If there was things that they did better, stuff they've added that's immediately noticeable, and if any of the older games did anything better that maybe they should bring over in the future. So let's have a look, shall we? So this is the first screen you come across, fairly standard fare. You get co-op. You get co-op offline in this version, which you didn't get in 4, which I miss. I quite like being able to just sit down next to your mate and play co-op through. I don't know if they've changed anything for the co-op campaign, since in single-player campaign it's quite... It's very much like one-person orientated. It very much revolves around the main character, so maybe that's a spin-off story or something. I don't know. I'll come back to that. I'll probably do a different video when I've got a friend. There's online multiplayer, obviously. Options, fairly standard options, audio-visual, nothing you really need to mess around with too much. I noticed earlier in gameplay, it's all just things you can turn on or off. They're all in-game mechanics. They're all things that assist you or you can use whilst playing the game. So you've got, your tips on or off, tutorials, weapon tagging, that kind of thing. Aiming assist, do you want that on or off? Stuff that's actually useful to you within the confines of the game itself. I noticed enable Facebook down the bottom. What? I mean, what? Why is that there? Is that... I don't. Is that an in-game mechanic as well? Do we get that? It just can you use Facebook within the confines of the game somehow? Just shot a man in the face with an arrow. Lol. Photo. Tagged a mate. I don't get why that's there. That shouldn't be there. That's that. Just don't get involved with it. It's automatically set to off, which is nice. So just leave it that way. That's not to be fucked with. And story, obviously, I'm going to nip in at about the halfway point, where I've unlocked some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff. I don't want to ruin too much, like I usually say, but I don't want to ruin any of the story in this case, like I showed a little bit in 4. This game has got a much better story than what 4 had. I will credit it with that, so I don't want to take any of that away. There's things that happen to people, some make it, some don't, and I don't want you to know which ones, if you've not already played this. I don't want to be that guy that, talks about Sixth Sense before anyone else did. You know who you are. And we're back in Far Cry, so as you can see... Oh, yeah, radio towers, still a thing, because Ubisoft. They are identical to in 4, really. They're the exact same concept. They've not changed anything. You climb to the top of them, they unlock a little bit of the map in that area. I found them to be a little bit harder in this game. I don't know if I just sucked, or whether I'd had more practice at the ones in 4, but I get the feeling that they toned them down for 4. Not because they were too hard, probably just they're very aware that people are getting a little bit sick of them, or getting sick of having to do as many as you have to do one after another. They're also what break this game slightly, because the second you climb up a radio tower, it unlocks weapons for free in the shop. And if you go around the top of the map unlocking all the radio towers as quickly as possible, you unlock a lot of the weapons. So it takes away, the survival element. So you very quickly go from Bear Grylls to John Rambo in the space of maybe an hour. And it can make the rest of the game a little bit too easy, in my opinion. But you could always whack it up to hard, which I've not done yet. And I don't know how hard is compared to the normal mode. I'll probably get around to that later, because I've really had a good time with this game. As you can see, it's a slightly different setting. It looks quite similar. I'll give you that. It's more tropical now. Well, it's all tropical. Look, you're on islands, and sand. Ooh, I need a shark. Stay still, shark. You a shark or a dolphin? I care not. You're mine now. And now we've got a shark skin. I can upgrade my weapon holster. This is exactly the same as in 4 again. The skills are identical. There's a few more skills in 4, and there's some that you have, like, for example, you have to unlock the ability to slide, I think. Yeah, you have to unlock the ability to slide in this game, whereas in 4 you can just slide. So they've taken a few of the ones that you didn't really need to be unlockables out. They don't help you so much. So, there was a few things you could do in 4 from the get-go that were in this as unlockables. That's not an issue, really. It's all, it's all there. It's all very familiar. If I played this first, I'd have probably found 4 a lot easier than I did, because this is... the controls feel almost identical. They've all been refined a little bit. They've all been tightened up. but they're by no means dysfunctional. You know, they work absolutely fine. So we'll just unlock a few of these abilities here. Always get the health ones first. Always get the health ones first. They are by far the most important. Some stuff for the sniper rifle. The only way this really varies is every time you unlock a new ability, you get a new tattoo. For example, if I now come back out of this screen, you'll get glowy arms. Yep, new tattoos just appear. That's not in 4, and it doesn't serve a purpose as such. It's just a visual thing, but I like that it's there. It makes everything feel a little bit more involved, a little bit more visceral. I sort of missed that in 4, and I wish they'd kept it. It's a bit of a non-thing. It doesn't do anything. I'm just glad they did it. The water looks outstanding in this game. I forgot to mention. If you swim in the sea, the colour's slightly different, the plant life's slightly different, you feel like you're swimming in a tropical ocean, whereas if you jump in one of the rivers, it feels and looks like you're underwater in a river. It's just little things like that make it much more immersive, and that's what this game does really well, actually. It's very immersive. Shall we kill some people? Oh, we got him eventually. Unlucky. Wait, climb up the rock. There we go. I want to laugh at him. Oh, he's already dead. Oh, he knew my name. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So, yeah, skills are exactly the same. Crafting is virtually identical. Hunt the animal, skin the animal, build things out of bits of animal. There is no real change up in there, apart from there's a few less things to hunt. There are a few different animals in this game, however. Like there's Komodo dragons are in here, and you see Galapagos tortoises wandering around. Giant tortoises, won't be Galapagos tortoises. This isn't in the Galapagos Islands. There's one little issue I have with these crafting these. The medical ones, the ones that heal you, in 4 crafted themselves when you collected enough herbs. It doesn't in this one. That was something they obviously added for 4, and what a good idea that was, because it's so irritating to have to remember to keep pausing the game and go back and craft things and then unpause the game. It breaks up the pace a lot more. As with the map, which we're going to do now. Hello. You have to look at this a lot more, because there is no sat-nav. You know, in 4, like, you get in the car and you put a marker on the map to somewhere to drive to, and it'd line the road where you needed to on the mini-map. No, that isn't in this at all. You have to keep flicking back to the map to make sure you're on the right road, then flicking back to the car. It breaks up the pace a little bit more, and I see why they added it for the next game. There was a few improvements in the next game. There's quite a few improvements in the next game, actually, that you, having just played that one, you don't realise how useful they are. Like, you completely take them for granted. There is, also fast travel's back, so we can just nip to where we need to be, which is handy on this game because there's no flying. Another example of things that you sort of miss is gliding. The gliders are in this game. The wingsuit started in this game. I was going to say makes a return. Began here. Came from here. And there are a few other things that it really misses, and you don't realise that you'd miss, like the ability of throwing lumps of meat that you pick up off dead animals into a base or something, or near enemies, and luring out a wild animal that will do your work for you. That was probably the thing I missed the most, because that was one of my favouriteest ever things to do in 4. What are the other things? There's throwing knives aren't in here, so if you forget to bring a silenced weapon to a 4 stealth section, you're fucked. You have to go all the way back to your base and change your loadout, which is irritating. Shall we go and do the mission? No, we shan't do the mission. No spoilers. We will go and take on a... Yeah, let's go and take an outpost. Outposts are just outposts in this game. There is no fortresses. This is before fortresses. That was one of the big things they added to 4, along with being able to ride elephants, which I miss, but I get why it's not here. It's an older game. There is no rappelling, which you don't think you'd miss as much, but you do. It gets so irritating when you have to walk around a mountain and you're nowhere near a car. So I'm going the wrong fucking direction. So yeah, no rappelling, which is a shame. And I think that's about it for all the ones that really bothered me. Oh, there was also no shooting from vehicles, which is a little bit annoying. So there's a few others that didn't really affect me at all. Like you can't call allies or NPCs into battle with you anymore, which I never did anyway, but it was nice that it was there. This wasn't in here. And there is no karma. So you can still help people by the side of the road and they'll give you little rewards, or you can just murder everyone that's supposed to be on your team. And there is absolutely no punishment for that. There is no consequences to your actions. So I kind of missed the karma a little bit, but I didn't pay a huge amount of attention to it in 4, so it's not a massive loss. It doesn't ruin the game by any stretch of the imagination. Can I make this? Yes. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Shit. Well, this hasn't gone entirely to plan. It's dark, so I can't see anything. I didn't tag anyone, and I've accidentally set a bunch of stuff on fire. But apart from that, yeah, swimming. Hello. Goodbye. Anyone for any more? No more! Okay, so yeah, that was a very, very, very easy one, so that's an early example. They do get a little bit more difficult later on, but never as difficult as they did in 4. Like, this is an early concept. If you can do... Shit! Sit, boo-boo. Sit. Yeah, if you can do the ones in 4, you'll sail through these ones. You can also, once you take them over, the bases... everyone in that area becomes allied or friendly, pretty much, so you don't get any more trouble from them. In 4, you had the ability to repopulate the bases. That came out wrong. You had the ability to redo the bases. Like you could. There was a little. I forgot what they called it. Sodding hell. There was a mission option within the bases themselves that you could select, and it made it so it became enemy territory again, and you could attack it again if you wanted to. If you wanted to try something from a different angle, or if there was your favourite ones and you're having a lot of fun with them, then you could go back and do it again. That's not in this, so when it's done, it's done. So if you clear the entire map, you're gonna get bored because there's not a lot left to do after this, which takes away a little bit of the replay value. But it depends how long you want to spend in these games. You could always just restart the game, you know. The guns lockers in your safe house are, yeah, again, identical. They're exactly the same as before. So you buy and sell things here. Any stuff you don't need, just get rid of it by pressing square, gone, and it keeps all the stuff that you might need. Also, this game doesn't have the signature weapons, so there is no like ridiculously upgraded versions of any of the weapons in this game. There is just what you see is what you get. There's a few guns in this game that for some reason didn't make it into the next game. Like my favourite weapon in this game isn't in 4, because the AK-47 is one of my favourite weapons, but it very quickly becomes outclassed in 4. There is an upgraded version of the AK-47 called the Ace, which was exactly like it, with a bit more powerful and a bit more accurate, and it had 3 slots available to upgrade it. It is by far the best assault rifle I've ever used in any video game. There was just something about it suited me down. I loved it. It's not in 4. They just didn't bother to bring that across. Maybe it was too good. I don't know. But I really, really miss it in hindsight. But apart from that, again, not much difference. Son of it, right. What have we learned? We've learnt to move your car before detonating C4. That's what we've learned. There we go. What I will say about the main campaign is it's a... Hello! Oh, machete kills. It's a lot more linear. And as a result, it's got like a lot more fail states and things, which doesn't feel right in like an open world game like this. I mean, it has its pros and cons, because it means it can tell the story better. It's more driven. It can be a bit more of a, you know, an engineered cinematic experience, I suppose you'd call it. So, you know, it has that working in its favour, but then it has things like bullshit fail states that don't belong in a game like this all over the place. There are some quick time event matches, that like knife fights and things, that you can't not do. And that just defeats the object of a game like this. They toned it down. Oh, shit, missed. They toned it down a lot in 4. It still had some of the fail states, but they were mostly gone. There was like a couple of forced stealth sections. There were a couple of that I did complain about in the last video review. This has a lot more of them, and that's irritating. But the story itself is brilliant. The story itself is a lot better. I don't think there's one character that's more interesting than I thought Pagan Min was. Voss is really, really good, but his story isn't as interesting. Pagan Min was, you know, he was involved with the main character. They had this deep history. Voss is a psychopath with a family issue, and I did find him to be a little bit overrated. Like, I really liked him, but a lot of the people that played this said that, oh, Voss was brilliant. Pagan Min got nothing on Voss. Pagan Min wasn't in the game enough. Voss isn't in the game as much as Pagan Min's in 4. Spoilers, he's actually only in half of the game, and the half of the game he's in, he isn't in that often, so it's not a big deal. Oh, shit sticks. This could be the end. Come on, stick to the wall, and I'm dead. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Voss isn't as great as people made out he probably was, but he is still pretty bloody good. Also, nobody ever mentioned Hoyt to me. He's one of my favourite characters. My favourite character in this game is Buck. I think Buck's brilliant, although I'm pretty sure he's a rapist, so maybe I shouldn't say favourite. He's an interesting character. I found him interesting. Saved it? I think I saved it. Sit down, shut up. Oh, I've caused a fire. Yeah, in fact, all the villains in this game are better than in the previous game. Pretty much, all the other characters, apart from Pag and Min, like I said, are just more interesting. Apart from your friends, the people that you came with, the people you're supposed to be saving, they are just vanilla-coated beige. They are the dullest people and stab his face off. There we go. Whew. That was tense. Yeah, they are terrible. I didn't like them at all, which I think the game did intentionally to make you ask questions about yourself. Yeah, chicken. Yeah, chicken. Can chicken swim? Let's find out. Apparently no. Apparently if chickens touch water, they die instantly. We are learning today. We are learning. That's a fact right there. See? And they say you can't learn anything from video games. Well, I thought one of them might know how to swim. This is his girlfriend. She is a horrible, horrible, patronising cow. She's by far the most irritating thing in the game. I've got absolutely no idea what he sees in her. I mean, if she had even one redeeming feature, I could understand. But I just don't know what that could be. I am completely clueless. The radio is also vastly improved by having no fucking radio host. There is no Rumpy Ray, whatever his sodding name was. It sounds like an early 90s, late 80s Cars tinny radio would. So it's a little bit more immersive in that aspect. I've said immersive a lot, but it is. The music in the game itself is actually brilliant. It was really, really good in 4, and they carried that across. I would say it's as good in this. Right down to some of the music's in the background. There's one part where you're breaking into a Voss's camp, and there's a band called Die Antwoord. You might have heard of, you might not have playing in the background. I think you're freaky, and I like it a lot. There is... Bye! Ooh, I may have hit your dog. Can I fit through here? Can I... What? What happened? Where am I? The fuck? Did I just warp through a mountain? Where's my car? I call shotgun. Isn't it though? Jet ski! I may have just launched my car into a jet ski. Nope, we good. But yes, the music overall is as good, if not better. Also, the missions themselves do some interesting things. They lead to some big, like, set pieces, like you're exploring through old caves and things, and it does a lot to make you feel like you're somewhere you shouldn't be. In fact, I haven't had that sense of sort of exploration and adventure, really, since I played Tomb Raider 3? Absolutely perfect dismount there, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, since I played Tomb Raider 3, because they all got a bit too, like, straightforward and simple after that. I mean, the puzzles, there are some puzzles in there, thrown in there because it's very aware of itself. Wow, that's a tough leopard. Whew. Skin. Thank you. Yeah, there are some puzzles in there, but everything you need to do in the puzzle and everywhere you need to go sort of glows, just to make sure you don't have to think about it for yourself for too long. It's like, what is this, Uncharted? There's no sense of difficulty there, but it's nice that they threw it in there. It's just a little nod to those old schooly type games. Here are some of the tortoises I was talking about. No, I just have very poor sight. Those are rocks. Rocks and tortoises, two very separate things. These sons of bitches haven't seen me yet. Catch! Oh, in your face. Your character himself is fantastically more interesting than AJ Garley was from 4 as well, because he just turned up and started murdering people for little to no reason. This guy actually sort of struggles with it at first, and it becomes part of him, and there's a whole story to him. He evolves as a character, which is just done so much better. Form an orderly queue. Thank you. Next. Ooh, sneaky fucker. He realised. The AI's not brilliant, but it's not terrible either. It's a little bit worse than it was in 4. They have a habit of running off in completely the wrong direction for some reason, even though they're supposed to know roughly where you are. But it's nice, it's not like in old video games where they just immediately know exactly where you are. Anyone else alive? There must be someone else alive. Hello! For example, that guy, not a clue. Watched me walk all the way up here, walked up and behind him and stabbed him in the neck. It's not bad. They're not bad AIs whatsoever. But he had a rocket launcher as well. He could have been trouble. But they're just not as good as they were in 4. They definitely refined that. This is also irritating as fuck. This is the biggest problem I had in 4, and it's in this game. And it's such a big problem in this game. Why they didn't fix it in 4, I've got absolutely no idea. The loot body button is the same as the pick up weapon button. The bodies always land next to their sodding weapons. This guy's next to 2 sodding weapons, so I'm twice as likely to accidentally swap my main weapon out instead of just looting him in the middle of combat, which is... it is by far the most irritating thing I've encountered so far.
Watch your fire.
Shut up. Boo! Oh, I'm bringing him with me. Whee! Break. Shit. Oh. I've had a little accident. As you can probably tell, this shotgun has rapidly become my new favourite weapon. It's not the most effective weapon. There he goes. It's not the most effective weapon. It's still not as good as something like, say, the Spaz shotgun, but it just looks so bloody cool. So yes, having taken yet another base for myself, I'm going to leave the video there. It is missing a lot, like obviously compared to 4, and it does do a few things wrong completely on its own. Just not comparing it to the new one at all. The amount of fail states are in this game need to go away. The quick time events need to go away. It does lead to some more like crafted events. Like I said, there are some more linear missions that are really good. The Tomb Raider-esque ones where you're exploring and trying to find parts of this golden compass that you're putting together and an ancient knife. There are by far my favourite parts of the single-player campaign. But I think it breaks more than it fixes. So it's, they did a lot right in the next game. They took a lot on board. I think they didn't just fart out another Far Cry game. A lot of people said it was almost identical. It's not. There's enough different about these games for them to both be worth playing. If you've played the 4th one and haven't played this one yet, like I hadn't, it's still worth picking this up. It's fun in the same way that Far Cry 4 was fun, except it's in a different place, and it's the place is different enough to make you feel like you're not just having the same experience again. Idiot. He saw me put the C4 there. He watched me do it. I should probably leave. So if you're a fan of 4 and you enjoyed it, then pick this up because you'll enjoy it for the same reasons. It's still very much worth playing, like I say, and it's still a very pretty game. Oh, look at that. I mean, ignore that JPEG mountain over there. That's not great, but the rest of it's lovely. I just murdered a parrot. His friend's coming for me. Run away. I don't agree with the people that said 3 was better than 4. It's not. 4 improved a lot. It did some things better, but overall, it's not a better game. That's just a fact. If you shoot at me, I'll press it. Well, you only have yourself to blame. There was a couple of disjointed moments in this video game where, like, the cutscenes didn't quite sync up with what was happening in the environment. For example, there's this.
You coming up? Come on, give us a hand. I don't have your knife, all right?
Where did you just help me up from? There's nothing there. There's no cliff. There's a little rock. Did you help me up the little rock? Oh, what was I doing laid down? What? And then there's this. Oh my god, how many bodies must I dig through? This was a big mass grave.
Okay, I won't tell her right now.
Wait, where did all the bodies go? I was digging through tons of these things. There's like, what, 13 of them there? What did you do? Just stack them all on top of me in single file? Yep, sorry, I keep getting distracted. I'm in this creepy-ass cave. I will end the video. The next video I'll be doing will be Blood Dragon, which I'm really, really looking forward to, because I've had a little bit of a look at that, and it looks just insane. Like, it's everything I love about video games appears to be being crammed into one place, with the mechanics from Far Cry, which I know fairly well by now. So I'm much looking forward to that. That'll be the next video from the series that's out, and then it'll be Far Cry 2? Yeah, the one that's in Africa, anyway. So, as usual, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. And we will be murdering bloody dragons.